Are you ready to have fun? I mean, I'm so excited. It's going to finally happen. The 80s. We're going back to the 80s. I'm Scoot. Welcome to the Scoot on the Air YouTube channel. Look, for those of you who don't know, for those of you who know, you remember what went on. But during the pandemic, I was not able to go to 80s night in the French Quarter. Every Thursday night was 80s night at a place called One Eye Jacks. And the pandemic hit and everything was shut down. And seriously, what happened was one Thursday night, I'm sitting alone in my apartment in downtown New Orleans, and I'm thinking, I should be getting ready for 80s night. This is really sad. And I thought, what the hell? And so I went to my closet and found something that looked like something that somebody in an 80s video would wear. And I set things up, and I started off live on Facebook, then went to Instagram, and I just danced alone in my apartment to an 80s song. And then it grew from there. And it was just amazing. Everyone went viral. And I would do different costumes, different outfits. Sometimes it was something, just basically simple. But I tried to do something that was similar to what you would see in one of the music videos. And it was a lot of fun. And it was crazy. I'm not a great dancer. I have fun. I enjoy dancing, and I have fun dancing. So no politics tonight. We're just talking about the 80s. I hope you will join us. Generations Hall. I got a call from George Demas, the owner of Generations Hall, which is a great venue, dance venue in the Warehouse District of downtown New Orleans. And George says, we've heard you talking about 80s night, and all the time that I was doing 80s night from my apartment during the pandemic, I said, we're going to get together. When this pandemic is over, we're going to have a real 80s night. Well, George called in the show today and said, let's have it. We want to have the post-pandemic reopening of Generations Hall with 80s night with Scoot. Saturday, July 17th. It is set, baby. We're having it. An 80s night come to life. These hairs are like, kind of itchy. Anyway, if you've never been to an 80s night, it's so much fun. The 80s was a really great time in America. We may have been committing some sins that we later had to pay for as a society, but it was a great time. It was a happy time, and the music reflected that. And 80s nights don't just attract the people who survived the 80s. They attract younger generations, young people who were not even born when these 80s hits were happening. And I've talked on my radio show about how, I reached one of the peaks in my career in music radio during the mid 80s, early to mid 80s. And, you get a song from somebody like this person named, what's her name? Madonna? Okay, well, let's put this song in by Madonna. Hey, this sounds really good. Great to dance to. I wonder if Madonna's going to become anything. Or Cyndi Lauper. Hey, this girls just want to have fun thing. Man, this has got a really catchy, but this is a fun song. I wonder if she's going to really become something. And then there was the Human League and the Cure and New Order and the Pet Shop Boys. And oh my God, I mean, the list goes on. Dexy's Midnight Runners. 80s music was fun. And I often talk about this. Music reflects society. And at the time, the 80s were considered a fun time. It was a time of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And this was a time when people were just busting loose and partying. And anybody like me that lived through this, that survived the 80s, is lucky to be alive today. And any of the performers who were popular performers back then, if they're still around, they're lucky to be alive. I've talked to a lot of these artists from the 80s, and I'll ask them all the question, are you lucky to be alive? And they go, oh my God, I'm so lucky. There's so many reasons I should be dead. I'm lucky to be alive. Now, we're not going to get crazy like that, but we're going to relive the 80s. Well, not relive the 80s. We're going to go back to the 80s, but we're going to bring the 80s into 2021. Now, we're going to decorate Generations Hall. The proceeds are going to benefit the Louisiana Hospitality Foundation, which helps people in the hospitality biz who have been hurt by the pandemic. One of my clients on WWL Radio, Geaux Tax Resolution, they want to be involved. So now they're participating in this. And I'm just going to promise you an epic 80s night to remember. It's Saturday, July 17th. The 80s start at 8. Man, plan to come in, make a night of it. Take Uber or get a hotel room in downtown New Orleans. And man, just if you want to blow it out this summer, Saturday, July 17th is the night to blow it out with our epic 80s night. And for those of you who did watch the Thursday nights from my apartment in downtown New Orleans, I'll wear some of the costumes that I wore and danced to some of those songs. And again, I'm not a great dancer, but I love to dance and it's fun. And what I did on Thursday nights was really kind of silly. But 80s nights attracts all kinds of different generations. And, I was on the front line. I was on the front line in music radio, dancing to the songs and playing the songs on the radio that were being released as hits. Oh, let's see. This is this new song. Michael Jackson's been around for a long time, but what's this Billie Jean? What's this Thriller album all about? And we were playing these songs as singles. Prince, Little Red Corvette, and many, many others. We're going to play all of this. And Shane Love, who was the top DJ at One Eye Jacks in the Quarter for 80s night every Thursday night. One Eye Jacks is sold. It's gone. It's done. No more 80s nights there. Shane Love plays real vinyl. He's got all the music. He's got deep cuts, dark cuts, because there was a dark side of the 80s, with The Cure and New Order, Depeche Mode. He's got all of that. So we're going to take you through all of this. Shane's going to be on stage. We'll have some dancers there. And then all we need is you. And whether you grew up in the 80s or not, there's always been something special about 80s music. And for the most part, there was a dark side of the 80s, but for the most part, the music was uplifting. And America in general was in one damn good mood. And, politics was part of our lives. But man, America was not arguing about all the political bullshit that we argue about today. Man, it was a fun time. So let's rekindle that fun time in America. And whether you survive the 80s or just, want to come be part of one hell of a party, come join us. And I just, I love the broad demographics that are attracted to the 80s. And I love seeing people who were not even born when these songs were, I was playing these songs on the radio when they were new hits. And these young people are singing every word to every 80s song. It's phenomenal. It's going to be one fun night. Also, George Demas with Generations Hall said, Scoot, we'd also like to add in there celebrating your 50th anniversary in broadcasting. 50 years. And that's why I announced yesterday that I decided not to run for mayor of New Orleans, which I was seriously considering, because I'd have to give up radio. And I might have gone back to it, but I would have to give it up while I campaigned. I'm not going to give up this shit. I'm having too much freaking fun. And this is all part of it. If I was mayor, I don't know that I could really do this. So anyway, I want to thank George Demas and his staff at Generations Hall for even thinking about me. An 80s night, an anniversary, man. Come on out. And it's my chance to say thank you to you. Tickets are available now at the website, themetronola.com. Themetronola.com. Check it out. I think tickets are starting out at $10. I don't know if they're going to stay there, but man, this is the time to buy tickets. So go to themetronola.com and get your tickets and join us. This is going to be one hell of a night. And who knows? If this really works, who's to say we're not going to do it again? and again. But we're going to start off with one hell of a party Saturday, July 17th. I hope you're there.